I was asked to tell a little bit about how I got to this point. And I think maybe a little insight into my thinking might strike a chord with some of the people who are on this call, and maybe help get you over the finish line. The thing is, everybody on this call is here because they care about the country, where it's going, and who's leading it. Everybody on this call knows or suspects that Donald Trump is not the right person for the job, and that in contrast, Joe Biden is. Frankly, pretty much anybody would be. But everybody's journey on how they got to this point is different, and that's totally okay. For some, they simply cannot stand Trump and that Biden is the only other choice, it being a binary choice. For others, they feel that it's a broader issue, that the Republican Party no longer reflects their views. For some, Joe Biden's positions, frankly, more closely resemble their views. And I guess for others still, the whole system has become so completely tribal and ugly and broken that they don't want to have anything to do with it anymore. I kind of fall into that category, frankly. Whatever your journey looks like, though, however you got here, the road has got the same potholes that everybody on this call has got to negotiate. The biggest one is being called out for, quote unquote, abandoning your party. Couple of tired old phrases come to mind. First one is, I vote for the person, not the party, has always been, frankly, just a line that nobody ever really acted on. Same goes for the phrase country over party. That line was generally said by people trying to show just how open-minded they are, but who in truth very rarely left their tribe. Neither party, from my perspective, is monolithic in terms of what it believes. There are leftists and conservative Democrats. There are progressives and right-wing Republicans. The problem for me personally arises when the party becomes a total 100% reflection of one person. What's worse is when that one person, Trump in this case, is endlessly divisive, bullying, and willfully ignorant to the facts. That problem gets even worse when the other elected leaders, I'm thinking about the Senate right now, roll over and become his greatest enablers, knowing full well what he is. They abandon their principles. Trump didn't have any to begin with, as far as I'm concerned. So not only do I think that Trump has to go, but I don't see many traces left of the political party I grew up with. And I've been doing this for a long time as well. I think the first time I did volunteer advance was 92 Bush. And I was telling the folks on this call that when I was a very young lad, I passed out bumper stickers for Ford's re-election, not knowing anything about Ford or anything else, but that kind of got me in the door. So for me, it's not only an indictment of Trump, just for me, it's not only an indictment of Trump, but also of the party. To take to steal an often stolen line from Reagan, I didn't leave the party left me. Which gets me to Joe Biden. Does the fact that the Republican Party left me make me by definition a Democrat? No, it doesn't. Will I truthfully agree with most of what a President Biden will push through Congress? No, I won't. So why support Biden? For me, because he is a good man who understands how compromise works. He understands how to get things done, and he knows above all else the role that America has to play on the world stage. For me, it really comes down to who do I trust when something goes bump in the night, when that proverbial phone rings at 2 a.m. With Trump, I have no idea what he will do when he answers the phone. I do know that the Senate will go along with whatever it is. Trump is not just a weird, strange blip on the political landscape for me. He's done some serious damage to the institutions of democracy that both Rosario and Sally were talking about earlier. Undercutting the public's trust in a free press is just one of them. It's the only private sector job called out by name in the Constitution, by the way. He undercuts the rule of law by pardoning his political allies and calling for his opponents to be locked up. He dismisses the value of checks and balances. He embraces authoritarians and calls everybody else weak. The man does not understand the job that he has, and he doesn't deserve to have it, and we don't deserve to have him. So agree or disagree with what President Biden's political policies will be, even though Sally hopefully will have a seat at the table yelling as loudly as she can. But know this, he will rebuild what Trump has torn down. And those things are the very pillars of democracy. They are more important to the survival of this country, they really are, than any particular law or judge or policy that any of us might completely disagree with. You will get plenty of pushback from some of our former colleagues and friends. They'll want to know what your motives are. If I were you, as an old communications professional, my advice to you is to turn the argument around. Ask them what their motives are. If it's simply to keep the Democrats from taking over, that just isn't good enough as far as I'm concerned. I, for one, am not interested in going through life having my politics be all about opposition to something. I want them to be defined by support of something. And that ain't Trump and what he's turned the GOP into. That's my story.